Good morning. Thank you for joining us at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. I am Heather Abbott. I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center, and I am honored to be doing the meditation for us this morning to set the container for our service this afternoon, or later this morning. Today I am reading a little note about July's theme and some affirmations from Dr. Reverend Madrana. Discerning the spiritual truth about a condition or circumstance is one of the greatest skills we can learn. To make this leap and reap the benefits, we must escape our attachment to our conditions and embrace greater spiritual awareness. This journey is not always easy, yet it is well worth it. This month, we explored various conditions that both challenge and imagine a higher idea, one that can support us in transcending limiting and uncomfortable conditions. Knowing who I am and standing with myself in love and compassion is the most important way I can support myself. When others reject me, I stay within me. You may close your outer eyes and turn within as I continue some affirmations. And then we will play some meditation music. And we'll have about 15 minutes in meditation, and then we'll bring you back into the rooms. I remain certain about the changeless presence of the divine as it supports and guides me through any change or ending in my life. Listening deeply to my peaceful inner voice allows me to feel free. I am peace. I feel peace. God in me, as me, is me. Sensing this truth, my belief in who I am and what I can be grows greater and greater each day. Surrendering resentment frees me to be happy and whole. I forgive and let go. There is always a deeper wisdom calling to me through every experience, including my dark and painful ones. I embrace and accept the gifts of it all now. Behind any unpleasant condition, I see the divine light shining through the condition and the beings involved. And now just sink into the meditation music, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes. I now invite you to bring your bodies back into your rooms, wiggle your fingers and toes. Thank you so much for joining us for this morning's meditation, those of you joining us online, and those of you here at 4 Points. Service will start at 10:15, and we'll see you there. Namaste.
Welcome. Yeah, good morning, everybody. So, welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you have chosen to join us here at 4 Points this morning or whether you have invited us into your homes, thank you so very much for joining us. It's always really wonderful to have the energy in the room and to also know that you are out there supporting us. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the honor and the privilege of being this community's spiritual director. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and at Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that there is one power and presence, one creative energy back of everything that there is. I call that power and presence God, but it goes by many different names, but by whatever we call it, it is the presence of love, of peace, of joy, of creativity, of wisdom, of abundance, of freedom, to name just a few of the amazing, wonderful God qualities that there are. We believe that we were created in God's image and likeness, and therefore, since it is creative, then we too are creative, and in fact, we have been using that creative process, that creative ability that we have throughout our entire lives, whether we have done so consciously or unconsciously. We have created the experiences of our lives and continue to do so. And so we come together on Sundays and Wednesdays and for classes and for social events to really support each other as we walk our spiritual path, to remind each other who we are when we've forgotten, and to get each other back on track. And so we're very glad that you've joined us, because that energy really keeps us uplifted and really raises the energy of love on the planet. And so thank you all so very much for being here. I wanted to remind everybody that tonight at midnight, is the last day for our silent auction for our Gourmets for God fund and friend raiser. So if you haven't yet registered or signed up or put some bids down on some of the events, I just welcome you to do that. If you need the link and haven't yet received it or can't find it, which sometimes happens when things get buried underneath 200 emails a day, that you could reach out to either myself or to Heather, and we'll make sure that you get that link. But there are 11 really wonderful events that will be happening from September 1st until the middle of November, and they're really exciting and fun and interesting and unique, and I say that you should really sign up for at least one of them, because it keeps us connected to the community in really wonderful ways and assists us to raise some funds to continue to do what we do here on the planet. So thank you all for that. I would also, speaking of thank you, like to thank Heather Abbott for her beautiful meditation that expanded and extended the container that our service will unfold within. So thank you very much, Heather. And speaking of Heather, let's welcome her back to the podium.
Thank you, everyone. What a welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone here, everyone at home. Just arrived right here. The theme for the year 2023 is Living Out Loud. Our theme for the month of July is Speaking Truth to Circumstances. Reverend Tom's talk title today is Pink Floyd Was Wrong. He might be the only person that's ever said that. I am now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. with the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Now I invite you to close your outer eyes, turn within, open your heart and mind, and allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you. You now to bring your attention back into your bodies and back into your rooms. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome our amazing volunteers, Amy and Martin, who will be assisting us this morning. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you both. And now if you'll turn within once again, I'm going to speak a word of blessing for the service today. Recognizing in this moment, this blessed, beautiful morning, that we are able to gather together as a center, gather together as a community for this morning's Sunday celebration service. I recognize the Spirit of God present here, present everywhere. I know that as the one truth, the one power back of all of creation. I know it as love, as peace, as joy. I know it as perfection. I know it as comfort. I know it as joy and happiness and all good things. I know that I am one with all of those good things, that I am one with God. There is no separation. I know that it breathes me, fuels me, funds me in every conceivable way. I know that as the truth of myself, as I know that as the truth of each person within the sound of my voice, each person on this planet, that we are all one with the divine. I speak a word of blessing on today's service, on Reverend Tom as he comes forth to share his message with us today. I speak a word of blessing for Ava manning the AV booth today so that we are seen and heard online, that you can join us from the comfort of your homes. I speak a word of blessing on Miles and Letha as they come forward to share their gift of music, that beautiful connection that we have with Spirit through music and song. I speak a word of blessing on the volunteers this morning, Amy and Martin, who give so much to this community, offering their services to help us set up and break down. So appreciative to our volunteers. And I speak a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty, our amazing leader of our community, for her leadership and love. And a blessing on each one in our community, each one that brings their gifts and talents and treasure to share with one another and to make this a place where we can gather with like-minded people and celebrate life and celebrate God. So grateful for today, for this service, for this opportunity to gather, and for the message that's coming. I know that we will all receive it with open minds and open hearts and come away today a little more thoughtful about how it is that we speak truth to circumstances. And for all these reasons, I am grateful. And I ask you to anchor this prayer with me by saying, "And so it is." Today's reading is from our founder, Reverend Ernest Holmes. By giving our complete attention to any one idea, we automatically embody it. We attract to ourselves the objective likeness of this embodiment. The thought becomes a thing. The mental state takes on form, color, and temporary reality. We outwardly experience our state of consciousness. But since the apparent without is merely a reflection of the within, which is its cause, what we most need to do is to start with the single proposition of the creative power of thought. And from this inner recognition, know that circumstances are formed and held in place. To assert our individuality is to rise above the law of averages into that more highly specialized use of the law which brings freedom rather than bondage, joy in place of grief, and wholeness instead of sickness. We cannot do this unless we are first willing to judge not according to appearances. In this judging not according to appearances, we are impressing the law with a new idea of ourselves, a less limited idea, and we are learning to think independently of any existing circumstances. This is what is meant by entering the absolute. And now, let's enter the absolute with some absolutely amazing music from Miles and Letha Costin.
I must say this is probably a first for us that we've ever sang a Pink Floyd song in church. But if you know this song, there is an echo to it, and if you will help out with the echo, that'd be great. If you don't know it, just sit back and enjoy.
And by the way, this was a request from Tom, our speaker today. Got to get just a little bit more on the guitar.
Not that much. All right. Us, and them, and after all, we're only ordinary men. Me, and you. God only knows it's not what we would choose to do.
Forward he cried from the rear
as the front rank died. The general sat, and the lines of the map moved from side to side. Black, 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 and blue, blue, blue. And who knows which is which, and who is who. Up, 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 and down, down, down. And in the end, it's only round and round and round and round. Haven't you heard? It's a battle of words. The poster bearer cried. Listen, son, said the man with a gun. There's room for you inside. and out, out. It can't be helped, but there's a lot of it about. Without, and who'll deny it's what the fighting's all about. Out of the way, it's a busy day. I've got things on my mind. For one of the price of a tea and a slice, the old man died. He said, out of the way, it's a busy day. I've got things on my mind. For one of the price of a tea and a slice, the old man died.
Let's start with a quick pop quiz. How many of you out there are worriers? Oh, I was worried that I was going to be the only one holding my hand up. And I did the usual old man thing, and I got up at about 4:15 this morning to go to the bathroom, got back to bed, and it started running through my head what I was going to say today, and I started worrying about that. And then I thought about it, and I thought, oh my God, I gave Dusty this title. What if nobody realizes and remembers who Pink Floyd is? So yeah, I'm a bit of a worrier too. Several years ago, Psychology Today did a study, and they said of every 100 things that we worry about, 92 of them never come to pass. They just don't ever happen in our lives. 4 others actually turn out far better than we ever anticipated without any involvement from us, direct or indirect involvement. That leaves just 4. And those are the ones that require some kind of active input from us, some kind of direct involvement just to be resolved. And they may be resolved favorably. They may not be resolved favorably. The key is there's only 4 things out of that 100 that even need any attention from us. Now, for you math people, you go, gee, that's only 4%. For somebody that likes fractions like me, I go, that's only 1 out of 25 things actually need me to be involved with it. That means 24 things happen that I'm worrying about that I don't even need to be considering, and there's just 1 that I need to be involved with. Now, when I took out the materials for today and I looked at the monthly theme, Speaking Truth to Circumstances, I said, okay, yeah, this is good. We'll be closing out this month. And then I looked at the suggested monthly topic title, and it was The Standing Stones. My first impression was, hey, this is neat, because they're talking about those nice river rocks that we see, mounted all standing together with a nice serene background and everything, and we use them for our meditation videos. I thought, this will be nice. We're going to talk about peace. Imagine my surprise when I looked at the lesson and it said, we're going to talk about circumstances like the big stone walls in our paths. And I went, wow. They said the wall. And I said, aha, Pink Floyd. I remember them and another brick in the wall. I said, let's look into that some more. And, you know, Pink Floyd was a British rock band in the 70s, very popular. And their one hit that was #1 here and in Great Britain was Another Brick in the Wall. I said, oh, good, there's something here. And I looked at it, and, you know, remember in the late 60s and the early 70s, a lot of rock bands were putting out rock operas. And, of course, The Who did one, called it Tommy, and it was about the deaf, dumb, and blind kid who became a pinball wizard, or who was a pinball wizard. And, of course, probably the most famous internationally one was done by Andrew Lloyd Webber, Jesus Christ Superstar. Well, Pink Floyd had one, and it was called The Wall, 24 songs, beautiful songs, except for one thing, the whole story and almost all the songs are kind of downers. They're blues songs, and they're kind of depressing, and they're dismal and forlorn, and they're talking about this wall that is so big you can't get over it, so big you can't get around it or under it, you can't get through it. Just, boy, it's foreboding. And it's impenetrable. That impenetrable means you can't get through it. I think I already said that. So I look at this, and I look at the world around us today, and many of the circumstances we face every day appear to be these big walls, this impenetrable thing in front of us. And it changes. There's many of them, all these circumstances that we face. And we're conditioned culturally to accepting the fact that these things are huge. They're overwhelming to us, overwhelming in size. You know, you go to your media and you listen to the news reports of what's going on in the world, either here around us or internationally, and it's very depressing. There's problems, there's troubles. It's made to make us fearful. Even our advertising that we see and hear is, oh my goodness, this is happening. You better talk to your doctor about this medicine. You better do this. You better buy that, or you're going to be second rate. Ooh. And we look at the shows we watch. There's all this competition. Everything is win, lose. Stab somebody in the back if you need to, just as long as you win. So we have this constant feeding ourselves, and we accept it as part of life. So when we see these obstacles in front of us, we see these circumstances out here, this wall, it seems even bigger than it really is. Now the world appears to be wall after wall after wall of these circumstances. But the truth is, they're not impenetrable. They seem very real, but they're not at all. They're illusions. They are merely illusions. See, circumstances are never the truth. Circumstances are merely the effect. And the truth is that no circumstance or no set of circumstances is eternal. There is one thing that's eternal, and that is the presence of the divine in you, in me, in everyone and everything as spirit, mind, and body. That's it. That is all the eternal that there is. So how do we learn to live in this world? How do we learn to deal with these circumstances? Most of us, from the time we were quite young, we paid attention to significant adults, parents, grandparents, maybe a minister, teachers, well-meaning aunts and uncles. all of them were well-meaning, all of them were doing the best they could, but they told us, this is how you live life. This is what to expect from life. And we took that in. And then we watched people and see how they modeled it for us. Now, that was the easiest way to learn. It didn't require a whole lot of thinking on our part. We just carried on down the road, and we met these obstacles that appear so great and so foreboding. I can tell you, though, that when you just go through these motions, it's quite easy for us to develop this internal dialogue that says, not enough. The world is not enough. We're not enough. And we carry that with us, that sense of lack of everything, including lack of our ability to deal with these circumstances that are in front of us. In the little over 20 years that I've been involved with both recovery work or ministry work, I have rarely meet with anybody, rarely talk with anybody who doesn't admit to me that they are their own harshest critic. Because what have we learned to do with this examples that we had and this teaching that we had? We learn to be performers, to be doers. And along with that goes this little thing on our shoulder called the observer critic. And it goes, you know, you feel pretty good about that, don't you, Tom? Well, you know, you made a mistake over here. And you messed this piece up. And, oh, you know, that piece over there, you forgot to mention it at all. So don't get too smug, feeling too good about yourself there, bud. All right? That's the dialogue that goes on. So how do we cope with that? We go, I'll show you. I'll become a perfectionist. And I'll do it right all the time. And this kind of attitude is born out of our worrying. And it's fed by our worrying as we go on. And life then hands us the result of that. Not just in the circumstances around us, internally. And we reflect it in our behavior, we reflect it in our health. Good for us, good for me, good for you, that we have science of mind. Yes, it says on our textbook, the science of mind, a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. We know that you can heal all that stuff that's going on inside you. We call it the inner work. And as you work to heal it, what you're doing now is, instead of being a performer, instead of being an observer of life, you become a participant. And you become a participant both of and in life. And when you do that, the real you starts to appear. That authentic self starts to come alive, and it shines forth into the world for us to see. And as you peel away this onion of the things inside, the not enough, and you peel it away and you heal, you let go of that need to be the inner critic. Now, doesn't it disappear instantly, maybe? But it becomes less and less and less. And you also start to lose that need to tell others how to live their lives. So now you become a bright, shining star. You become the Superman or Superwoman in your own life. You know, I mentioned it in recovery. I started in recovery in late October of 2001. And I joined, it was a combination of two recovery groups, Codependence Anonymous and Emotions Anonymous. Not being powerless over other people and being powerless over my emotions. And it was necessary for me because I grew up in a family that didn't know how to nurture. They didn't know how to extend love. They didn't know how to express emotions in a healthy manner. And that was what I was taught, and that's what I carried into my adulthood. So I learned a lot of coping mechanisms, and one of them was to be a human doing. I had no idea how to be a human being. And I started off, and I was doing fine in recovery. I was feeling really good and feeling like, golly, my life is turning around. But there was this nagging inside that kept saying, something is missing. There's something just I need that's not there. And in July of 2009, I attended my first service at what is now the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. And Science of Mind took my recovery and my awareness of my spirituality and kicked it all into overdrive. They blended together. They led me to where I am today, which is a ministry on spiritual recovery, and led me into knowing who I am. Now, I will tell you that Science of Mind, make sure I say this right, is the study of the principle of being. Now, the study of being is called ontology. So if you're ever on Jeopardy, you've got the answer to that question. You know? But it's the study of being. And it teaches us the truth, which is we have the power over the circumstances, those big walls in our life. We have the power. Amen. And it's in you, and it's in you from the moment of your conception. We have the power because we're always at choice. We can choose what we think. Yes. We can choose what we speak. Yes. We can choose what we do. Yes. And we can choose whether to have fear and worry or whether to have courage and realize that that wall isn't real. Amen. See, everything in the universe, everything, every circumstance is neutral. And it only has the meaning that I assign to it. I give it its meaning. That wall doesn't have to be impenetrable unless I decide it is. And I know it's not. Circumstances are always speaking to us. And what I would urge you to do is when you're faced with one of these supposed walls of circumstance, ask it what it's saying to you. Ask it, what is the gift it is giving to you in this experience? Now, you may say to me, Tom, it is so bad, I don't want to ask it anything. I'm going to walk the other direction. I just don't want to be in its presence. That's okay. Then you can go into the silence and you can open up your heart and your mind and allow Spirit to speak to you and answer the questions for you. What is that gift that is being brought to you by this experience? We can ask ourselves, can you listen to somebody who's standing there advocating a viewpoint or a belief that just absolutely drives you crazy and makes you want to judge them as a total idiot? Are you able to set aside your certainty, your rightness about an issue, and view it from a different perspective? You know, we think perspective is just this or that, one or the other. If I asked you to describe my hand, you would say certain things, but when I turn it this way, I say, well, I'm looking at something totally different. And you go, oh yeah, well, it's either this or that, the front or the back. Think about a perspective in this way. What if it's a circle? And there's 360 degrees and they're all looking at the center of the circle. That means there's at least 360 different perspectives. Now, what if that circle turns this way or 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 this way? And it's a sphere. There's an infinite number of spots on the outside of that sphere. And if every one of them you're looking at the center, There's an infinite number of perspectives. No two are alike, and none of them are wrong. So I recommend to you, when you're faced with this wall, these circumstances that you go, holy mackerel, what a horrible situation, or what an imposing thing that's in front of me. Ask yourself the two foundational questions. What can I learn from this experience? How can I grow from this experience? You know, worrying, I don't think we call it that officially anymore. We've given it kinder names like stress, like anxiety. Ernest Holmes says anxiety is a habit. It's the habit of looking at what appears to be and feeling a lack of trust in the appearance of something that could be good. It's sort of like, we like that character, Chicken Little. You remember Chicken Little running around going, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. The prophetess of doom. We want to listen to them. We don't want to listen to somebody that says, you know, it's really nice. Sky's blue. We don't want to listen to them very much if we're worriers, if we're stuck with anxiety. But science of mind says everything can be healed. Amen. We can heal everything. Yes. Now, I know what you're saying. You're going, yeah, but I like healing fast. We're in this world, we're in this time, we're in this country that likes instant gratification. We want quick results. I like it when the practitioner comes in and I'm feeling ill and they speak a spiritual mind healing treatment, and it's like, I call it light switch healing. The light switch is flipped and all of a sudden the disease goes away and I'm well. All healing should be that. You know, that's when the practitioner comes out of the room and says, yeah, okay, I am the king of practitioners. No. It doesn't happen that way all the time, and in fact, not most of the time. William Shakespeare said, how poor are they who have not patience? What wound did heal, but by degrees? And we know that's true. We know that's true. You cut your finger, you get a little blood comes out, it forms a scab, and underneath the skin knits itself back together. The scab falls off in a few days, and voila, it's healed. Our bodies want to be healed, and our minds want to be healed. Just keep in mind that spirit does heal, but spirit also has no basis of time, no basis of space. Time and space are our construction, our creation. Humans did that. So it may take a week, it may take a month, it may take a year. And that week, that month, that year to spirit is instantaneous. It is the light switch quickness. So there needs to be some patience involved. But the good news is, if anxiety is a habit, transcending anxiety is also a habit. You know, we can go proactively. Take the time every day to listen deeply to this still small voice of spirit that speaks to us. And if you're not hearing it, it doesn't mean it's not speaking. I'm going to suggest that maybe we're not listening. We get so busy we just don't listen to spirit. But take that time to listen. You see, going from a state of anxiety to a state of spiritual truth requires surrendering to the hearing, the sensing, and the being guided by the very presence of the divine. It's that simple. What we learn about these obstacles is they respond to truth, and they respond positively to truth. And we're called to always live in principle, and a principle is nothing more than a fundamental truth. And what is the fundamental truth that we teach here? God is all there is. Everything, everybody, this entire world is God expressing. That circumstance that you viewed as an obstacle is not impenetrable. It's an illusion. You can walk right through it. It is merely God expressing. You know, the full realization of the presence of God in you neutralizes fear. It just makes it go away. And we are the individualizations of that principle every day, every way, because we are unique, individualized creations of the divine intelligence, that greatest love that we call God. The late First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt said, in the long run, we shape our lives, and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die, and the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. Now, how do you live that responsibility in your life? Well, Science of Mind teaches you tools that you can use. Probably the greatest tools you can use is to engage regularly, I would suggest to you daily, in the spiritual practices we teach. Things like meditation, prayer, affirmations, visioning, journaling, classes, spiritual readings, and there are others. The other, as I mentioned to you before, listen to your intuition. Listen to the guidance you're receiving, because Spirit, when you're faced with an obstacle, Spirit will reveal to you what is yours to do. That obstacle may be one of those 92 things you don't need to worry about. It may be one of those 4 things that are going to be resolved more favorably than you ever thought could happen. So you only have to do something with those other 4. I would suggest to you that you focus on the quality of the feeling you want to come away from an obstacle with. How do you want to feel after this encounter with one of these obstacles? Do you want to come away forlorn, upset, feeling down in the dumps? Or do you want to move forward and come away with a feeling of the presence of the divine is here, acting in, as, and through me? Ralph Waldo Emerson said there is one mind common to all, and it is the mind of the divine. And Ernest Holmes took that and then added to it and said, to practice the presence of God is to think in terms of perfection and wholeness and results in the fulfillment of every right desire. That's the time to close. Okay. Well, that's okay, because that's right where I was. So in closing, I just want to say to you, every one of us remains each day a work in progress. That's called our evolution. You don't have to be perfect. Karen Drucker had a perfect song called I Don't Have to Be Perfect, and the refrain says, I don't have to be perfect. I'm doing the best I can. I give myself permission to be just who I am. Beautiful song. Ernest Holmes says the law can do for us only what it does through us and as us. Its energy and creativeness must be interpreted through our belief and imagination. You, every one of you, you are the energy and the creativeness of the law right here and right now. That is the light that you are shining in the world today. And each of you is absolutely brilliant. And so it is. I invite you now, if you'll turn within, And I'll speak a word of affirmative prayer. Oh, and this is what I know, that there are no worries because all is God. There is only that one source of all that is, that first cause, that eternal cause of all creation. And I know that source, I know that eternal cause as God, the divine presence and spirit of the universe, the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing, all-loving, always present spirit that is in each one of us, for we are created by God out of the very substance of itself, and that substance is divine, unconditional love. And the presence of God is ever in us, ever with us, and ever desiring to express as us. And I know this is true for me. I know that it's true for each one of us. And I know that the will of God for each one of us is to express life fully, to be the best you and me that we can be, to let our authentic selves shine and our lights so brilliantly shine forth and be the truth before which there are no obstacles. And we can take hands with each other, with others that are not even here, and we can walk through those obstacles. And we can spread the truth everywhere we go, with every thought, with every word, with every action. And it brings such joy to me to know that each of us is endowed with that power, and to know that the world, with all of its supposed insurmountable problems, is just waiting for us to come and shine our light and to put ourselves forth in our most authentic way. And I'm grateful for this calling. I'm grateful for knowing that each of us is able to do exactly that today and every day. I'm grateful for the joy of knowing that this word is fulfilled right here and right now. And I'm grateful for the presence of the divine in each one of us. And so I release this word into the law. I know that it's perfect. I know that it's good. It's very good. It's true. It is fulfilled. I know the universe always answers yes. And I know that the law is absolutely certain. It's true. It's perfect. And I can trust it completely. And I know that the divine is guiding me and directing me every moment, and that is where my faith is. So I join with the universe and invite each of you to join with the universe and me in saying together, and so it is, and now it is. Thank you. Thank you. Whoop. Well, I'm just dropping stuff everywhere.
So thank you so very much, Reverend Tom. 2009, he was here a little bit before even I got here. So he was one of the ones that welcomed Reverend Denise and myself and Krista when we arrived in North Carolina in January of 2010, and he has been supporting this community in one way or another since that time through just early classes and through practitioner training. And then while he was in ministerial school in Florida, he supported even from afar. And today he comes with a really beautiful reminder of who we are and the power and presence that is always back of us and supporting us through his good buddy, Ernest Holmes. The consummate Ernest Holmes guy, right here. Thank you so very much, Tom. So it is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. So it is this time every week when we offer financial support to this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the Greater Triangle area. Together we affirm that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. So there are 3 different ways that you can give, and they are up here on the screen or on your screens at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org, or you can text the word GIVE using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you can even, surprise of all surprises, mail a check to our office at PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. So in this moment, I invite those of us here and those of you at home to take your gift, hold it against your heart with an affirmation for yourself or for our community, and we will say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. So now as the baskets are being passed around, please welcome back to the podium the awesome, magnificent Miles and Letha Costin.
Lighten it up a little bit from that last one.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I got a little laughter in my belly, silly in this head, a bright idea in a blind spot, tethered by a thread. Long as I look at this world right and wear a kind of light, appreciate the things that really matter. When I got a little bit of laughter and a little seed of kindness falls to the ground, grows into a forest of kindness and love all around. Well, I got a little hope inside this heart, jelly in these legs, a good sign that I'm living life out on the edge. Long as I look before I leap, 'cause the jump is kinda steep, I spend my time enjoying the ride. When I got a little hope inside and a little seed of kindness falls to the ground, grows into a forest of kindness and love all around. got a little peace inside this mind, goodwill in these hands, and I'm tired of drawing lines on sinking sand. Long as I'm willing to disarm and agree to do no harm, I see that there's no enemy to fight. When I got a little peace inside, when I got a little peace inside.
That was lovely. Thank you. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the home page there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and send it out to the ministers and the practitioners. If you would like to dedicate a flower dedication, providing beautiful flowers for our pulpit on Sundays, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or to Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. And a reminder, next Sunday after service, please join us for our monthly lunch bunch. We will be returning to the wonderful Scratch Kitchen in downtown Cary. It's always a wonderful meal there, and we love to break bread with you and celebrate the August birthday babies. Now is the time for our July affirmations for the last time this month. This is a call and response, and please repeat it with meaning, and go ahead and stand up, and we'll just use our whole bodies in this wonderful affirmation. There's some sheets on the chairs if you'd prefer to read it from that. This month, I choose to stop relating to the world from an us versus them perspective. Instead, I step back and awaken to the truth that there is no enemy out there. I powerfully recognize the truth of Spirit and align with its power. With ease, truth replaces the hold of circumstances like light replaces darkness. I look out at the world with compassion and take action from that place. I commit to the practice of visioning to catch what Spirit wishes to express. I patiently support everyone in my life right where they are. And I stand in the power and wholeness of Spirit that I am. And so it is. Thank you for that powerful call and response. You may be seated. Turning within once for the last time for this service, as I speak a word of gratitude for what has transpired. So grateful for this moment to gather, this beautiful community, recognizing the amazing source that is from whence we came, from whence we connect every moment. So grateful to know that source is everything. There is nothing that isn't God. So grateful for Reverend Tom's message today, and that we can sink our teeth into and recall during our week, knowing that there are no real walls, that through Spirit we can walk right through any hardships, any problems, any circumstances that seem so hard in our lives. that there is nothing that isn't a match for Spirit. So grateful for this community, for this time together, for all the gifts that we bring. So grateful for this week ahead, for all the chances that we have to be gentle with ourselves, to love one another, and to recognize Spirit in every moment. Grateful for all of these gifts and for so much more. Please anchor this prayer with me by saying, "And so it is."
Thank you all so very much for being with us, whether you're here today at 4 Points or whether you've invited us into your homes. It's been an awesome day. Thank you, Reverend Tom. Thank you, Miles and Letha. Thank you to all the volunteers. And thank you to all of you. I love you.